everybody. It's Monday again. Time for a Flosstube update. I wasn't sure whether I had ever shared this with you guys, so I thought that I would share it for show and tell today. I was making my morning coffee this morning. As you can see, this piece sits directly above my coffee maker. And so I look at it every day. And you know, when you look at something every day, it starts to become part of the landscape, and you don't always pay attention to it. But I was looking at it this morning and I was thinking, oh, that really is, you really worked on that for a really long time, and it's really nice, and you've never shared it, I don't think. So I thought maybe today was the day. This was a dimensions kit and was one of the first large pieces that I ever started. I probably started it shortly after John and I got married. So we've been married 21 and a half years. So I'm going to say it was at least 20 years ago that I started it. And it took me, I'm going to say it took me about 8 years to finish. Like with all of my projects, I always work on lots of different things at the same time. So it was stitched in and amongst a few other things. So I stitched it on the fabric that came in the kit, which was a very light blue Ada, and there were a lot of blended threads, blended stitches. As those who have done dimensions kits know, that's really how they achieve that wonderful shading of coloring. There's a lot of blended threads. And I'm going to just take you in close up here to this purple, this area right in here. I made a lot of errors with counting and the pattern, and I was so stuck in, making sure that everything was absolutely correct that I really got frustrated with stitching it. And so that's why it sort of sat in the corner for such a long time, because I felt like I was doing it completely wrong. When in fact, once I just sort of bit the bullet and just thought, okay, we'll just make it up and fill it in and go as you go, no one would ever know. No one would ever know except me that it's not exactly 100% true to the pattern in all of that purple shading there. How ridiculous was I, really? So beautiful church scene with the snowmen, and I just love, I'm going to give you a close-up of the little carriage there with the horse. Isn't that sweet? So, just looking at this again today, and I think this is what really started my love of stitching houses. I really, really enjoyed stitching that house. I remember that when I filled in the yellow of the lit windows and did the back stitching on it. And we all know like a lot of people, I'm not a fan of back stitching, but you can certainly see how it just adds so much depth and character to the piece. So, I'm going to have to look up, I saved the old pattern. I'm going to have to look up the name in case anyone's interested. I'm fairly certain you can still order these dimensions kits. I don't think usually go out of print. I could be completely wrong about that, so don't quote me on that, but I'll look up the name anyways, and I will insert that information. So there you go, show and tell. And thank you for letting me share that, because just talking about it again and looking at it close up has made me appreciate it all over again. So thanks. So I'm totally wearing the same outfit I wore yesterday to record the Sunday high tea video, but because yesterday was a pajama day for my son, who insisted on having a pajama day for his birthday, which of course was such a hardship. I only put this on to record the video yesterday. So you think I've been wearing it for 48 hours, when in fact, I only wore it for about 15 minutes yesterday to record the video. So it's totally clean. So just so you know, so you don't think that I, sleep in my clothes and then get up and just record another video, which would be ridiculous. Anyways, Hello, happy Monday. My name is Caroline and thank you for joining me today. If you're brand new and you're just watching me for the first time, welcome. And if you're a longtime subscriber, welcome back. And it's nice to have you visiting with me again today. I love Monday updates. They turn what can be, not such a fun day of the week into something that I really look forward to because I really like sharing what I've been working on with you. It's no good just, keeping it all to myself because I need someone to tell all about it. Okay, so I am going to have inserted the video of my show and tell with the dimensions kit. And I don't often keep old patterns, but I, for some reason, still had this hanging around. So fortunately, I can share with you exactly the name of it. So it is a dimensions kit from the Gold collection, and the title of it is called Wintry Eve. So there's the picture of the front pattern. Sorry, a picture of the kit. It did come in a kit, Wintry Eve, and the date on this is 1997. So 1997, the Gold collection, Wintry Eve. And it's one of my favorite finishes. Now that I've been stitching a really long time, I tend to prefer not using kits and instead kitting things up myself. But I did really enjoy working on this. And I do have 2 more dimensions kits in my stash. So maybe it's time to revisit those. Possible high tea start maybe? I don't know. I have a cabin design that I've actually seen a couple of people on the Facebook group working on. So maybe I'll be a joiner and join in. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed me sharing that with you because it's really it was a special finish for me because it was one of the first big pieces that I ever took on. So anyways, it was nice to share that. Okay, moving into whips. So last week I tried something new where I discussed the whips that I was working on, and then I inserted a little video with some music so that I could show you the close-ups of it. And I had really positive feedback from that, and I thank you a lot. But sort of rewatching it myself, I think what I'd like to do instead, it feels very strange for me to not be talking while I'm showing you something. So I'm trying something a little different again today. I recorded some video clips of my whips, but instead I've talked throughout the clip so that I could talk to you about it while I'm showing it. So I hope that you enjoy it. I think it's probably going to be my preferred way to do things. So I hope that is something that you also enjoy. So let's get started with my whips. It was a busy week, so I didn't get as much done. I mean, when do we ever get as much stitching done as we would really like in reality? I think we'd like to do nothing but 24/7 stitch, and then maybe we'd be satisfied with the amount of progress we got. Maybe. Anyways, so I had 3 whips this week, and the first one that I'm going to share with you is my Ink Circles Forest Flower. So here's a picture of the finished design. And it is just so beautiful. I love it. So Ink Circles Forest Flower, and I'll insert my little video right here. So as you can see, I finished all 4 of the Brethren Blue flowers that are, surround the Brethren Blue that surrounds the outside. Now, a big shout out to someone who sent me a message about a missing stitch right there. So when you know that it's not there, it sticks out like a sore thumb. So always nice to have a little bit of help in finding these things that are missing. I also noticed when I was looking at my picture on Instagram that I missed filling in. Do you see the pale gray? See the gray in the middles here? Well, that gray is also found in these little sections right there. Oops, There we go. And as you can see, I missed that little guy just up in the corner here. So I still have those 3 stitches to fill in and that one little missing guy that's up there. But here's a really nice close-up of the 1/1. Believe it's 25 count even weave. And as you can see, I have just started working my way outside the flower. I am using the called for Gentle Arts threads, and it is tiny, tiny perfection, which completely floats my boat. I just love it. I am loving all of my whips. I think they're giving me so much pleasure. Oh, love it. It makes me want to sit down and stitch it right now. Too bad I have to work. Shame. So there you go, ink circles, forest flower. What I love about those teeny tiny, doing 1/1 on such a small count is the absolute sort of miniature scale of perfection. It reminds me of, wanting to be a child and play with a dollhouse, one of those really fancy dollhouses that have things inside it that are perfect, in perfect miniature. And I know even as an adult, it's probably something that I don't know if I would enjoy, because I know it would just sit and collect dust, but seeing everything in perfect, complete, absolute miniature, I love that. And so I think that's why I'm really enjoying forest flower, because of how I'm stitching it. And the colors, the colors in reality, I'm not sure they're coming across as well in the video, but in reality, I'm using the Gentle Arts, like I think I mentioned, and I'm really enjoying the color. I had a question, someone wanted to know whether you could stitch this design in DMC, and absolutely you can. Right on the pattern itself, there is a conversion to the DMC colors, and DMC as well is just, it's equally as beautiful. DMC colors are fabulous as well. So whatever you want to do, the choices are endless. So have fun with it. So that's it for my ink circles whip. My mug of the day, coffee first always. I received a pair of these from my brother as a Christmas present a number of years ago, and they fit nicely in the hand, and they're a favorite. So that's my mug today. Okay, moving on. So do you notice I've changed the cubbies behind me? I've added more yarn cubbies because I know that Ginger Gerald Stitcher is a really huge fan of my yarn in cubbies. So Gerald, I did that just for you. All 4 of these secondary level cubbies behind me are full of yarn. So enjoy. I hope that you appreciate that I did that just for you. All right, moving on to my second whip. I think I'll save that actually. I'll do that last. So the second whip that I worked on this week, and because I didn't have a lot of time, for the amount of time I had, I think I did as much as I could. And so this is the Modern Folk Embroidery Mystery Sal, and I am just closing in on finishing up the very first month, January, which is the winter. It's a seasonal sampler. So the first January block is, I believe the way it is working is that it's in the winter season, and then moving over to the right, we go into spring. So I'm just finishing up January, and part of at the top, I'm sort of cheating and going into February a little bit, but thoroughly enjoyable stitch. So I hope you enjoy having a closer look. So here's a close-up of the Modern Folk Embroidery Mystery Stitch Along that I've been working on. As you can see, I've made a little bit of progress on the January segment, and I'm actually closing in on a finish on the January start. So since the last time I shared it with you here, I have completed this motif over here. So that's done. A few of those little teeny tiny snowflakes are done. And I have also done quite a bit of work on the large scale motif that's at the bottom of the January part. And I have started, you know, there's a little teeny bit of February up there because I was going on with the border. So as you can see, I love, love, love this piece. I am stitching it on a 40 count linen by R&R Reproductions in the Patriots Brew colorway. And I'm using a silk, hand-dyed silk by Vicki Clayton, hand-dyed fibers, discontinued, unfortunately, sadly, my constant lament about Vicki's beautiful silks. And I am just loving every single stitch of this piece. So progress is progress, and let's hope that January is finished next week when I share my update. Isn't it fabulous? I love it. I love it so much. So much. I want to stitch on it all the time. But then I have, you know, a gajillion other things that I want to stitch as well. Not enough time, folks. Not enough time. Okay, last but not least, yesterday was the very last Sunday of the month. And if you have not heard about it yet, I record a video once a month on the last Sunday of every month, and I call it Sunday High Tea. And Sunday high tea is supposed to be something very special. And I like to think that starting a new project is also special. And so on Sunday, the last Sunday of the month, I start a new project. And that's where I wait all month and then I celebrate the fact that, hey, I'm going to start something new. Even if I haven't finished the other whips that I'm working on. And trust me, there's a reason this video is called From the Stash Pile. There's a pile. So I have to work my way through it. So I figure if the things that I have are already kitted up and I haven't started them, they're just sitting there, not being loved, not being used and enjoyed. I've paid good money for a lot of these things already. Sometimes I have to enhance what I have in order to complete the project. But I do my best to use what I have. So yesterday's new start, and if you would like to go and watch the video, I also have a giveaway at the end of every Sunday High Tea. So there's all of how to do it is all in the video. So I hope you'll enjoy it, and I hope that you'll join me in starting something new on the last Sunday of the month. It's not too late to join in, ever. You can have Sunday High Tea halfway through the month. So my new start was a piece called White Christmas by Scissor Tail Designs. So here is the pattern photograph. I am doing the main design, this one up here. In the video yesterday, I wasn't sure on which red I was going to use for the snowman's hat, and also I am replacing the middle word Merry with the red color to match the hat, following and copying my friend Neil from Thread and I, because that's how he stitched it, and I just think it adds a lot of character to the piece. For something so small, it's pretty cute. So I last night was organizing out an old drawer. You can't see the other side of my sewing studio, but it really needs to be organized, and so I've been slowly going through my things. I purchased some DMC boxes, floss storage boxes from Kathy and Neil as they're closing down their shop. They had some of those DMC, the 3-tier drawers that, pearl cotton and things like that come in. So I purchased some of their empty storage boxes from them, and they fit perfectly into my IKEA shelving units. So on the other side of what you can't see here, I have another bookshelf, and I am putting these storage boxes that I purchased, and I'm putting them into those cubbies, and I'm reorganizing everything that's over there. So slowly I'm getting through my things. And when I was working away at that last night, I found the perfect thread for this little bit of red that I need. And I can't even remember when I bought this. I think I bought this from Kathy and Neil before they moved to the last location that they're in now. So I'm gonna say maybe 10 years ago I bought this. And it was silk thread. I had never, so actually this is the very first silk that I ever purchased. So right there you can see it. It's Soie d'Alger, 2.5 meters. And I'm positive that I have a second little baggie of this somewhere as well, but I only found the one last night. This, I know for sure that this is the very first silk that I ever purchased, because I remember hemming and hawing and thinking, oh, do I really want to try silk? I don't know, like why would I want to use silk? But I thought it was inexpensive because it was just a little baggie of it. And so I bought it and I never used it, and I tucked it away in a drawer. And look at how perfect it is. It's just this, it's perfect, perfect, perfect. And it's exactly what I need for my design. So this little bit of Soie d'Alger is what is going to be the red in my Mary and the hat and the scarf of my snowman. And I am absolutely tickled that past Caroline thought to buy something so absolutely perfect that future Caroline is really going to appreciate. So, ta-da! Okay, so I'll put in just a small little snippet of what I started on my high tea start, because I only worked on it last night and I didn't get a lot done, but I did get a little. Now, before I put the video in, actually no, I'll tell you after. I'll tell you after. So I'll see you in a minute. So I started my new start last night, and as you can see, just a little bit of progress, but you know, not bad for just one evening where frankly I really had very little time because we were still celebrating Nicholas's birthday. So I sort of just put in what I could. This is a 28 count cashel linen, and the colorway is lichen. And it's not really giving you a true representation of the color. It's kind of a light blue green. Just a beautiful, beautiful color. It's a shame actually that the color is not true on the screen, because I'm really loving this the color of this fabric. So I think it's going to be a fairly quick stitch. Famous last words, I know, but you know, one evening's of progress, and it's really not a very big design. So fingers crossed that at least one of my Sunday high tea starts will be finished in 2018. One can dream. I think that's why I need to pick a few more smaller projects. So that's the plan. Anyway, onwards. Okay, so in yesterday's video, I said that I was going to try stitching in hand. And then, as I do, I went back and forth and back and forth. And when I was editing the video, I thought, you're never going to do that. You're never going to stitch in hand. And so I put in a few funny comments about, you know, who do you think you are? You're not Yanni. You're never going to stitch that in hand. And then last night, it was midnight, and I was finally, you know, I like to put in a few stitches right before I go to bed. It's very satisfying. So I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, you know, you at least have to try it, because it's kind of pathetic if you say that you're going to try something and then you are so stubborn that you won't even try it. So get it out of the Q-snap and at least try one length of thread so that you can say that you gave it a good effort. So I did. And in the video that I showed you, so actually now I'll show you. Okay, so this top line of stitches and the H, those were the only stitches that I did in the Q-snap. The A, V, the E, and all of these downward stitches here, I did in hand. And I didn't hate it. Honest to goodness, I didn't hate it. So, not too bad. I was pretty pleased that I tried it and I didn't hate it. So I actually might continue doing that with this little design. We'll see. So I was super proud of myself, and I wanted to make sure that you were all super proud of me too. So there was some of that. Anyways. Okay, that is it for whips. That is it for show and tell. That's it for whips. The other thing that I wanted to share with you today is about something that I'm going to be doing for the month of May. We all know about Stitch Mania. It is a phenomenal thing that happens every year. There's a Facebook group for Stitch Mania, and it is craziness. It is the most wonderful kind of craziness that Stitchers can imagine. Basically, in the month of May, people either start something new every day, or they choose, lots of people are choosing 18 new things to start. I know Priscilla and Chelsea have talked a lot about it on their most recent video. They have some wonderful things planned. Jan Hicks Creates is going to be doing a daily Stitch with Me video with Stitch Mania. And so I posted a little thing on the Facebook group yesterday because last year during Mania, I tried, because I already have a lot of projects started, and the thought of starting that many new projects when I've already got Sunday high tea starts planned, I have a birthday start planned, I have all of my chalkboard monthly designs that I want to get through, I thought that I should instead focus on what I've got. And so last year on Instagram, what I did was every day I picked a different whip and I put a few stitches in that whip. I fizzled out halfway through the month, and I was always a little bit disappointed in myself that I had kind of fizzled out in the middle of the month. So I put up a post in Facebook yesterday and I said, what do you think about trying this where every day I put up just like a 2 to 5 minute video and I try something similar, but I'm only going to be working on whips, a different whip every day. What do you think? Who wants to join in? And I'm sure that I am not, of course, the first person to think of this, because lots of other people do Mania however they want. It's kind of your own version of craziness. And I think it was Carla who posted that it's called Whip Mania. So I think that's phenomenal. I think that's a fantastic idea, and I'm so excited. So that's what I'm going to do. I am going to post, starting tomorrow, a very short little daily video where every day I pick a different whip and I do something to it. So reorganize the threads, you know, make sure that everything is still where it needs to be. And I'm really going to try to put at least a couple of stitches into it that day. And then I'm going to record what the project is, what the supplies are, and then either, you know, maybe I'll do like a brief little, these are the stitches that I put in, and then when I'm done at the end of the day, or I can't do it at the end of the day because then I can't get the video up in time. So maybe by like whatever, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, whatever couple of stitches I've managed to put in, or either that or I'll do it the next day. I haven't quite figured out the details yet, but it's going to be crazy because it's going to be something every day. And I can't wait. I can't wait. I can't wait to go through what I've got. I also am going to have a couple of knitting whips in there as well. So it's going to be like 95% cross stitch, 5% knitting, because I do have to make some progress on my knitting projects, or else the girls on my fiber friends are going to think that I don't care about knitting anymore, which isn't true. So I do have to have some knitting as well. And so I think what I'll do is I'll put a little picture of what the daily whip is in the thumbnail. So if you really don't care about knitting and you really don't want to watch that, you'll know right up front that it's about knitting. So what do you think? Who's in? Who wants to join me? You can share on the Facebook group, Friday Off the Grid. You can share your daily whip. You can share, you know, leave me comments on the video, whatever, however we want to do it. Let's just make May as fun and as crazy as the people who came up with Stitch Mania, because how fun is that? I can't wait to see what everybody is going to be working on this month. I just think it is so much fun. So that being said, that's it. Those are the plans. So I will see you tomorrow with a really quick little video. I already have planned what I want to work on, and I can't wait to get started. So I have a very quick shop update today, and then I'm going to get on with my day. I have one new set in the shop. Well, it's two different versions of the same fabric, 2 different flavors. And this is the last of this fabric that I have. So these will be it. I have a medium flat cross stitch tote. This fits the 8-inch square or the 8x11 Q-snap. Comes with a coordinated notions pouch, and it's a beautiful dusty rose color. So I know it shows up kind of as brown, and it's a sort of brownish rose color. Hard to describe. And then I used that dusty rose as the lining on the bag. So I think I have 4 left. I think there's 4 of the flat sets left. And then I made 2 of the wedge tote style with a pink twill bottom. So these as well. Oh, and the notions tote for this is the same floral fabric as the bag. But the lining of this bag is the dusty rose floral. So I only have 2 of these. So that's it for this fabric. It is now done. So what's in the shop is all I have, and I hope you love them. So that's it for me today. Thanks for watching. Happy Monday. Thank you for liking the video, for subscribing, for leaving me all of your amazing comments, and just being great friends. Thanks, guys. Happy stitching, and I will see you tomorrow for Whip Mania.